Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Welcome to our fifth lecture of MTH 108 Business Math 1. We are studying our chapter 2, which is about linear equations. Okay. In our last lecture we have started linear equations. Let us recall the main objectives of our chapter. That is, we want to provide a thorough understanding of the algebraic and graphical characteristics of linear equations, to provide the tools which allow one to determine the equation which represents a linear relationship, and to illustrate some applications. Now we quickly review what we have done in our last lecture of this chapter. Last time we have studied the importance of linear equations, then the characteristics of linear equations, particularly the definition, with some examples, and with some examples in which we have seen that the given equation was not a linear equation. Okay. Then what is more important to us is to find the solution set of an equation, whether it is linear or of second degree. Then we saw the solution set of an equation, how we can find the solution set, that is some different methods to find the solution set of an equation, and with some examples. Okay. Then we try to generalize our concepts of 2 variables up to n variables. So same case with the n variables, we studied the definition, examples, and then the solution set of a linear equation with n variables, again with some examples. Okay. Then we saw how we can graph an equation of 2 variables, some different methods to plot our equation, linear equation in 2 variables, and again some examples. Okay. Then the last thing we have studied in our last lecture was the intercepts of a linear equation in 2 variables. That is, if we are given a linear equation in 2 variables, let's say x and y, then what do we mean by x-intercept and what do we mean by the y-intercepts? And then the graphical representation of our x-intercept and y-intercept with some examples to make the things more clear. Okay. Today we continue with our second lecture, that is linear equations. And what we will mainly discuss today, what do we mean by a slope of an equation? Slope of an equation is a very important tool and very important definition which tells us many things about an equation. Now the 2-point form of an equation, what do we mean by 2-point form? Definitely the equation must have some 2 values of ordered pairs or something like that. Then the slope-intercept form. The concept of intercept we have already studied in our last lecture. Today we will study the concept of slope, and we will see that how we can find a linear equation in 2 variables when we are provided with the information of slope and intercept. Then 1-point form, that is, what do we mean by the 1-point form of a linear equation. Similarly, we will also see that what are parallel lines, what do we mean mathematically, and what is the mathematical definition of perpendicular lines. These terms are very common, but how we can define them mathematically. Okay. Having this information, we will try to generalize our concepts for more than 2 variables, that is linear equations involving more than 2 variables. And in the end we will see some applications. Okay, students, we start our today's lecture by the definition of slope, a rough definition of slope. Then what do we mean by a slope is any straight line with exception of vertical line. We are not talking about the vertical line. So any straight line with exception of vertical lines can be characterized by its slope. So what does the slope tell us? Basically it tells us the inclination of a line. What do we mean by the inclination of a line? That is, does the line rise or fall? Sounds strange that a line rise or fall. Okay, the rise or fall of a line will tell us the inclination of a line. Okay, second thing which slope gives us is the rate at which the line rises or falls. So first we have to understand that what do we mean by the rise and fall of a line, and what is the rate. Once we know the rise and fall, then we have to find the rate at which the line rises or falls. That is, the rate means that how steep the line is. The line is very close to the vertical line, in between vertical and horizontal line, or very close to the horizontal line. Okay, what do we mean by all these graphically? For example, we have our x-axis and y-axis, and let's say we have one line which is like this, and we have another line which is like this, which means that these two lines, one line is more inclined than the other line. The second line which I have drawn is more inclined than the first line. Definitely, if we know the slope of a linear equation in two variables, then we can find the slope of the line. That is, we can see without drawing mathematically that what is the value of this inclination, and that is the line in rises or fall, and how steep it rises or fall. Okay, let's consider another example on our same coordinate axis, x and y. Let's say if we have a line in this direction, okay, fine, it is a line in xy plane, and again if we draw a line in this direction, so this means that again we have two lines, and the second line which I have drawn is more close to the vertical line, is more steeper than the first line. So okay, let's see what do we mean by this more close to vertical line or more steeper. That the slope of a line may be positive, negative, zero, or undefined. If we are given a line, then the slope may have four possibilities. If the slope is positive, this means that the line rises from left to right. That is what we have here. The line rises from left to right, that is something like this with positive slope on our x and y axis. Okay, now if the line given has a slope negative, this means that the line falls from left to right, that is in this direction. Okay, now if we have a line with a slope 0, which means that we have a horizontal line, that is this line. Okay, and if we have a line with slope undefined, which means that we have this vertical line. This is the line with slope 0, this is the line with slope undefined. Let's have a look at it again. What do we mean by, suppose we have our xy axis and we draw a line in this direction. Oops. Okay, then as we have seen that if in our previous slide that if we have a line with slope positive, it rises from left to right. Okay, we have a line, now this is from left to right, so it must have a slope positive, which means that as the value of x increases, the value of y also increases. That is, x and y are directly proportional to each other. As the value of x increases, the value of y also increases. Okay, now again our xy axis, and now I draw a line from left to right, which means that the line falls from left to right, so the line has a negative slope. Now what does this mean? That as the value of x increases, from negative to positive, the value of y is decreasing from positive to negative. So the value of y decreases. Okay. So in this case, x and y are inversely proportional to each other. That is, x is increasing but y is decreasing. Okay. Now we have, okay, now what do we mean by a line of slope 0? Okay, is this line. So it is a horizontal line, which means that if the value of x increases from left to right, the value of y does not change. Similarly, if the value of x decreases from right to left, there is no effect on the value of y. That is, x increases or decreases, for the value of y, no change. If you recall our last lecture, in our last lecture we have represent these type of lines with x is equals to k. Okay. Now the final case, that is when the slope of a line is not defined. This means that if we draw a vertical line like this, now as the value of y increases or decreases, the value of x is constant, it's fixed. So these type of equations, these type of lines we have represented by equations y is equals to k, and there is no change in the value of x with respect to the value of y. So these type of lines, the vertical lines, have slope undefined, and we denote it with the symbol infinity. And what conclusion we have? That as the value of y increases or decreases, in the value of x, no change. So now we have seen the 4 types of slopes of a line graphically, that if the line has a positive slope, the line will move from left to right. In particular, the line will rise from left to right. If a line has a negative slope, it will fall from left to right. Line having a 0 slope is just a horizontal line parallel to x-axis, and the line having slope undefined is just a vertical line parallel to y-axis. Okay. Now, as we have seen in our definition, that slope basically represents the steepness and inclination of a line. So the slope of a line is quantified by a real number, definitely, and the magnitude or the absolute value, because we have seen a case in which the slope of a line may be negative, but it is a real number, so the magnitude or the absolute value indicates the relative steepness of the line, that is how steep the line is. If the slope is in negative, we take the absolute value and we see the steepness of the line. And what does the sign indicate? If the sign is negative, which means that the line is falling from left to right, and if the sign is positive, which means that the line is rising from left to right. That is, okay, what does the sign indicate? The sign indicates, if the slope is positive, then the sign indicates that the line is rising from left to right, and if the sign is negative, which means that the line is falling from left to right in this direction. So whenever we know the slope of a line, the magnitude will tell us the steepness, how steep the line is, and the sign plus or minus will tell us that in which direction we should plot our line, from left to right or from right to left. In this case it is rising, and in this case it is falling. Okay. Now, Okay, if we have a line CD, consider we have two lines AB. Now I have drawn the line from left to right. Definitely the line has positive slope. Consider one more line CD having positive slope. Now we have two lines AB and CD, both have positive slope, and we have seen that the line CD is more steeper or more inclined than the line AB, which means that the magnitude of the line CD is bigger than the AB. So the slope of this line CD is greater than the line AB. Okay, now with the negative direction, okay, consider a line LM with negative slope in this direction from left to right, and consider one more line, let's say NP, having negative slope. I may write it here just to know that what does the slope will be, what will be the sign of the slope will be. Now we can see the line NP is more steeper than the line LM, which means that the line NP has more magnitude than the line LM. Even though both the lines have negative slope, but which one is steeper? The one having the more magnitude. Okay. Now we use this definition of slope to find the equation of a line with the two-point formula, or we find the definition of slope with the help of two-point formula. That is, when we are given 2 points, how we will find the slope of a line. Basically, the slope tells us the rate at which the value of y changes relative to the changes in the value of x. What does this mean? That if we are given any 2 points which lie on a non-vertical line, the line should be non-vertical and straight, because if the line will be vertical, then the line will have slope undefined. So we are given 2 points on a line, then the slope can be computed as the ratio of the change in the value of y to the change in the value of x. Okay, now what do we mean by this slope mathematically? That is change in y with the ratio of change in x, which is equals to delta y over delta x. That is, delta y represents the change in the value of y, and delta x represents the change in the value of x. So if we are given 2 points on a non-vertical straight line, we can easily find the slope of a line by finding the ratio between the change in the value of y to the change in the value of x, that is, finding the ratio of delta y to delta x. Okay, now mathematically, the slope m, if small m represents the slope of a straight line connecting the 2 points x1 y1 and x2 y2, then the slope is basically representing the rate of change of y, that is delta y, with respect to the rate of change of x, that is delta x. And now we are given 2 particular points here. So what will be delta y? That will be the change in y. So y2 minus y1. How much the point on the y-axis on the vertical line has height? y2 minus y1. And how much the point on the x-axis has increased? That is x2 minus x1. Where the condition is that x2 should be different from x1. Okay, what do we mean by this? Let's say we have a point P equals to having coordinates x1 y1 and point Q having coordinates x2 y2. Okay, this is our point P with coordinates x1 y1. So this is our x1 and this is our y1. this is our point Q with coordinates x2, y2. For the simplicity, we are assuming that our both points P and Q lie in the first quadrant, just to get an idea that what do we mean by graphically the slope of a line. So this is x2, extending it this way, and this is y2. Now we have a line joining the points P and Q. Fine. Okay. Now what will be the slope of this line? Since the line is drawn from left to right, the slope should be positive, but this we will compute later in our examples. So basically the slope will be given as delta x. So delta x is basically x2 minus x1, and this height is basically delta y, which is y2 minus y1. And putting these changes in our formula, we will get the slope of this line having joining 2 points x1 y1 and x2 y2. Now let's do some examples. We are given 2 points 2, 4 and 5, 12, and we have to find the slope of the line connecting the points 2, 4 and 5, 12. Then here we have our x1, y1 is equals to, let's say, 0.24, 24, and our x2, y2 is 5, 12. Then okay, both lie in the first quadrant. This may be 0.24, we call it P, and this may be 0.512, we call it okay, and this will be the line joining the points P and Q. So we have to find the slope of this line, and we are given 2 points 2, 4 and 5, 12. Okay, so what will be delta y here? Delta y will be equals to y2 minus y1, which is equals to 12 minus 4, which is 8. And what will be delta x here? Will be x2 minus x1, which is 5 minus 2, which is 3. So the slope of the line connecting the points 2, 4 and 5, 12 will be just a ratio of delta y to delta x, which is 8 by 3. Okay, which is 8 by 3. Okay, now we have some observation that along any straight line the slope is constant. What do we mean by this? That the line connecting any 2 points will have the same slope. That is, if we have this line, slope positive, and if we have these 2 points, let's say A and B, then the line connecting these 2 points A and B, let's say, have slope m1. Okay, if we take another point C, then the line connecting the points A and C will have the same slope as the line connecting the points A, B. That is, let's say the slope in this case is m2, then m1 will be equals to m2. Similarly, if we pick any 2 points, any arbitrary 2 points on the line, then the slope of the line with respect to these 2 points will be the same. So if we have a straight line, it will have a constant slope. If A has coordinates x1, y1 and B has coordinates x2, y2 and C has coordinates x3, y3, then m delta y over delta x with respect to AB, that is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, will be the same with respect to AC, that is y3 minus y1 over x3 minus x1. So by picking any 2 points on the line, we can find the slope of that line, and it will be the same for any particular choice of for any choice of points. Okay, now we have another example in which we want to find the slope of a line connecting the point 2, 4 with 5, 4. Now here the y has the same value 4, so we have a horizontal line y is equals to k. So this represents the line y is equals to k and x is equals to k. Okay, back to our question. We have 2 points 2, 4 and 5, 4. So this is basically a horizontal line. That is, we have this 2, 4 and we have x is 5 and 4. So this is the horizontal line, y is equals to k, and we want to find the slope of the line connecting the 2 points. So m will be equals to delta y over delta x, which is equals to delta y is 4 minus 4 over 5 minus 2, which is 0. So now we have seen that if we have a horizontal line, then it must have a slope 0. Okay, consider our third example. Here we are given 2 points 2, 4, the same point 2, 4, and the next point is 2, 5. Okay, let's draw it again. This is the point 2, 4 and this is the point 2, 5. Then the line connecting these 2 points is a vertical line, that is x is equals to k. So what will be the slope in this case? That will be the difference of y, which is 5 minus 4, divided by the change in x, that is 2 minus 2, which is 4 by 0 and undefined. So now we have seen that a vertical line has no slope, the slope of a vertical line is not defined, and the slope of a horizontal line is always 0. By picking any 2 particular points, giving the horizontal line and vertical line respectively. Okay, then we have some practice questions from the exercise 2.2, the follow-up exercise. Now, up to now, what we have studied is the slope of an equation, that the slope means the inclination and steepness of a line, and how we can find the slope of a line. If we are given 2 points connecting a line, then we can find the slope easily with respect to the formula, that is change in y over change in x. Okay, we continue further with the slope intercept form. What do we mean by the slope intercept form? That if we have a general form of a 2 variable equation as ax plus by is equals to c, which we have studied in our last lecture, then we can rewrite our equation as how? Let's do it in 2 steps. by is equals to c minus ax, and again rewriting what we have done in our last step, that we have subtracted ax from both sides. Now we will divide the b from both sides, where a is different from 0 and b is different from 0. So what we get? Y is equals to c over b minus a over b to x. Okay, with the condition that b is strictly different from 0. So this equation is basically tells us the slope and intercept, and it is known as the slope intercept form of an equation of a line in 2 variables. To avoid these fractions c over b and a over b, what we generally write as y is equals to mx plus c, where m represents the slope of a line and c represents the y-intercept of the line. Now let's have a look at some examples. That what do we mean by the slope intercept form? We are given an equation of a line with two variables x and y, which is 5x plus y is equals to 10, what we will do first, we will rewrite the equation in our standard form, that is y is equals to minus 5x plus 10. What we have done in this step, we have subtracted 5x from both sides. So now our given equation is in the general form, which is y is equals to mx plus c, or we can call it as k to avoid our c from the equation of the line. So mx plus k. Now if we compare our given equation with the standard one, what we get, m is equals to minus 5 and k is equals to 10. So the given line has a negative slope, which means that the line is definitely falling from left to right, negative slope minus 5, and it has y-intercept 10. Then this should be somewhere above, that is when x is 0, the value of y is 10. So k is basically representing the y-intercept. Okay, so minus 5 means that the given equation has a negative slope, and the magnitude, the steepness of the line is 5. Okay, let's have a look at another example. Y is equals to 2x over 3. Comparing it with the form y is equals to mx plus k, what do we obtain? That m is equals to 2 by 3 and k is missing here, that is k is 0. So basically this line has no y-intercept, that is when x is 0, y is 0, the line passes through the origin, and since m is 2 by 3, so the slope was positive. The line is rising from left to right, and this is the equation of a line where this c is missing, where we recall that the line was ax plus by is equals to c, and we have seen in our last lecture that whenever the c is 0, the line passes through the origin. Okay, one more example, we have y is equals to k. Comparing it with the general form, y is equals to mx plus k. What do we obtain? That here y is equals to 0 into x plus k, which means that m is equals to 0 here. So the line has no slope. The line with 0 slope was just the horizontal line. Y is equals to k with 0 slope, and the intercept is 0k, that is when x is 0, y is k. So now we have seen few examples of lines, that how we can find the slope of a given line and the y-intercept of a given line. We are provided with an equation of a line. Then what do we mean by the slope of a line? Just by comparing our equation of line with the general form y is equals to mx plus k, we can see that what is the slope of the equation, positive, negative, how big the magnitude is, and what is the y-intercept of the equation. Now, okay, if we want to see that where all this apply, then let's have a look at the salary equation. If we have an equation y is equals to 3x plus 25, where y is the weekly salary, that is salary per week, and x is the number of units sold during 1 week, then this can be represented by a linear equation in two variables as y is equals to 3x plus 25. A police department estimates that the total cost C of owning and operating a patrol can be estimated by the linear equation C is equals to 0.04x plus 18,000, Then C is representing the total cost and X is the number of miles driven. So this can be represented by a linear equation in two variables, X and C. With this, we again have some practice exercises from section 2.3, particularly question 1 to 24 and question 26 to 32. Okay. Now, we have studied so far up to slope, intercept in our previous lecture, 2-point form, slope intercept form. Okay. Now, what we are interested in to find the equation of a straight line when one or a combination of these information is given. That is, if we are given the information of slope and intercept, how we can find the equation of a straight line. If we are given the information of a slope and 1 point, how we can write the equation of a particular line representing this slope and that 1 point passing through the line, and so on. What we have done up to now, that we have done in the reverse order. We were provided with the equation of a line here in these three examples, and from this equation we have deducted the information of the slope and the intercept. But now we want to do the opposite, that we are given the information of slope and intercept, or slope and 1 point lying on the line, and with the help of this information we want to find the equation of a straight line. Now we have given the slope as m is equals to -5 and k is equals to 15. So y is equals to mx plus k. Just putting the values of m and k in our general equation, we obtain y is equals to -5x plus 15. So this is the equation of a straight line having slope -5 and y-intercept 15. Okay, now we are given a slope m is equals to -2 and 1 point lying on the line. Recall our equation, y is equals to mx plus k. What we will do here is we first have to find the value of k to write the equation of a straight line having slope -2 and passing through the point 2, 8. So we will put the values of x, y and m in this equation. What do we get? Y is 8 is equals to slope m is -2 into 2 plus k. Simplifying, we obtain 8 is equals to -4 plus k, and k is equals to 8 plus 4, which is 12. So what will be the equation of the line? Y is equals to m is -2x plus 12, or if you want to simplify, y plus 2x is equals to 12 is the equation of a straight line representing the slope m is equals to -2 and intercept y-intercept k is equals to 12. Summarizing this second example, slope 1 point form, what we have general, we have point slope formula. Okay, let's have a look at it. If we are given a non-vertical straight line with slope m and containing the point x1, y1, as it was the case in our second example, we had a slope and a point 2, 8. Now the slope of the line connecting x1, y1 with any other point xy is given by m is equals to y minus y1 over x minus x1. That is, this is the point, let's say x1, y1, and we want to find the slope of a line connecting the point x1, y1 with any other point on the line. Let's say this is the point xy, or this is the point xy. Then the slope of such an information, that is when we are provided with a point lying on the line, will be y minus y1 over x minus x1, and rearranging this equation we obtain the equation y minus y1 is equals to m into x minus x1. So this is the basically point slope formula, where m represents the slope and x1 y1 is the point lying on the line. Okay, now let's have a look at our previous example where m was -2 and the point was 2, 8. What do we get? M is -2 and the point was 2, 8. So putting these values in our equation, we obtain y minus y1 is 8 is equals to -2, x minus x1 is 2. Simplifying, y minus 8 is equals to minus 2x plus 4, and what do we get? Y is equals to minus 2x plus 12, or y plus 2x is equals to 12. Comparing our result with our previous calculation, we had y plus 2x is equals to 12. So if we are given a slope and a point, we have two methods to find the equation of a line. One method is either put all the values in our standard equation, y is equals to mx plus k. From there we will find the value of k, that is the y-intercept, and putting the values of m and k in our equation, we obtain the equation of a line. Or we can use the point slope formula, which is y minus y1 is equals to m into x minus x1. Putting the value of m and the point x1 y1 in the equation, we will obtain the equation of a line. Okay, now what happens if we are provided with 2 points lying on the line? Then in this case the equation of the line will be y minus y1 over y2 minus y1 is equals to x minus x1 over x2 minus x1. This sounds a bit complicated, but if we look at it closely, then y minus y1 over x minus x1 is just the slope m. Here y minus y1 over x minus x1 is just the slope m. So what do we get? Basically, that taking x minus x1 to the left side and multiplying y2 minus y1 bringing to the upside, we obtain y minus y1 over x minus x1. This is nothing but the slope m from the point slope form, and what do we get? Which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And if we recall our initial slides, what did we obtain? Basically, here the slope is just the ratio of change in y over change in x, that is delta y over delta x. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 is nothing but delta y over delta x. So if we are given 2 points, we have two methods. Either we can find the slope by the change in y to the change in x, that is delta y over delta x, and we can write the equation of the line, or we can use the 2-point formula, which is y minus y1 over y2 minus y1 is equals to x minus x1 over x2 minus x1, and then we have to simplify it to see the equation in our standard form, which is y is equals to mx plus k. Okay, let's have a look at one example. We have 1 point minus 4, 2, and the second point is origin 0, 0. What do we get? That y minus y1 is 2 over y2 is 0 minus y1 is 2 is equals to x minus x1, x1 is minus 4, we get plus 4 here, over x2 minus x1, x2 is 0 actually, 0 plus 4. What do we get? Y minus 2 over minus 2 is equals to x plus 4 over 4. After simplifying, y minus 2 is equals to minus x plus 4 by 2, which is minus x by 2 minus 2. And what do we get? Basically y is equals to minus x by 2 is the equation of a line passing through the origin. So the y-intercept is origin and the slope is minus 1 by 2. Okay, what do we get? M is minus 1 by 2 and k is 0. Okay, now alternatively, what do we have? First we will find the slope m. M was y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is y2 was 0 minus 2 over 0 plus 4, which is minus 1 by 2. Now alternatively what we are doing is, first we have found the slope m with the formula delta y over delta x, and then we will put this value of m in one point x1 y1 or x2 y2 in our one point form, which is basically y minus y1 is equals to m into x minus x1. Now we have the value of m. Our 2 points are minus 4 2 and 0 0. So we can pick any point x1 y1 or x2 y2. If we pick x1 y1, what do we get? Y minus 2 is equals to minus 1 by 2 and x plus 4. Simplifying, we get minus x by 2 minus 2. This cancels out, we get the same equation, y is equals to minus x by 2 with slope minus 1 by 2 and 0 intercept. Okay, if we pick the second point, that is 0 0, what do we get? Y minus 0 is equals to minus 1 by 2 m and x minus 0. Simplifying, minus x by 2, y is equals to minus x by 2. So we have at least two different ways to find the equation of a line when we are provided with 2 points connecting the line. Either we will use the 2-point formula, which is y minus y1 over y2 minus y1 is equals to x minus x1 over x2 minus x1, or first we will find the slope m, which is the rate of change of y with respect to rate of change of x, delta y over delta x, and then we will use our point slope form, that is y minus y1 is equals to m into x minus x. What do we mean by parallel and perpendicular lines? Two lines are parallel mathematically if they have the same slope. That is, if one line has slope m1 and the second line has slope m2, then they will be parallel if their slopes are equal. That is, m1 is equals to m2. And what do we mean mathematically? That in particular, what do we get? If this is one line having slope m1, then the line parallel to this, not well drawn, will be the line having slope m2, same as m1. Okay, what do we mean by the perpendicular lines? That two lines are perpendicular if their slopes are equal to the negative reciprocal of each other. Okay, let's have a line with a slope, let's say m1, and a second line having slope, if this is our line having slope m1 and another line having slope m2, okay, then these two lines, I'll call them AB and CD. The line AB and CD will be perpendicular if their slopes are equal to the negative reciprocal, so equal to negative reciprocal of each other. That is, one slope is equals to the negative value of 1 over the second slope. Now we have one example from the book. We are given the equation of a line 3x minus 6y is equals to 24, and what is the slope of the line represented by the slope m of the line represented by the given equation. Okay, so m is equals to what? 3. Okay, we put a question mark here. We simplify it. Minus 6y is equals to 24 minus 3x. Dividing the equation by minus 6, we get y is equals to minus 4 plus 1 by 2x. So the line has slope m is equals to 1 by 2, positive slope, and not the slope 3. So whenever we are given an equation of a line and we are asked to find the slope, then first thing what we have to do is rewrite the equation in the general form, that is y is equals to mx plus k, and from there we can easily recognize what is the value of m and what is the value of k. Okay, and the intercept is 0 minus 4. Now second thing, what is the slope of any line parallel to this given line? Since the given line has slope 1 by 2, any line parallel to the given line must have the same slope. So any line parallel to given line, call it star, have slope m2 is same as 1 by 2. Okay, now what is the slope of any line perpendicular to the given line? Now any line perpendicular to the given line star must have slope minus 1 over m, which is minus 1 over 1 by 2, which is minus 2. So any line having slope minus 2 will be perpendicular to the given line. Okay, now what we are asked further, that how many different lines are perpendicular to this line. So there will be infinite number of lines having slope 1 by 2, which will be perpendicular to line having slope minus 2. And finally we are asked to find the equation of a line which is perpendicular to the given line and passes through the point 2, 5. This is part 5. So perpendicular to the given line, so any line perpendicular to the given line star, which means that the slope of this line will be minus 2. Yes, any line perpendicular to the given line has slope minus 2 and passing to the point 2, 5. So we will use our point slope formula, that is y minus y1 is equals to m x minus x1, y minus y1 is 5 is equals to m is minus 2, x minus x1 is 2, and simplifying we obtain y minus 5 is equals to minus 2x plus 4, or y plus 2x is equals to 9. So this is the equation of a line which is perpendicular to the given line and passing to the point 2, 5. As we can see that here m is equals to minus 2, that is y is equals to minus 2x plus 9. Okay, so now what we have done so far, if we are given an equation of a line, we can find the equation of a line parallel to the given line. Also we can find the equation of a line which is perpendicular to the given line by finding the slopes, and we can also find the equation of a line which is perpendicular to the given line and passing to some point by using one point formula. Then we have some more practice questions from section 2.4, which are question 1 to 40. Okay, now we come to our topic of more than two variables. That is, when we are provided a linear equation involving more than two variables. Let's say for the simplicity we have three variables, that is x, y and z. Then how we can represent our three-dimensional space? We have, let's say we start from the down one. This is our x, then this is our y, and this is our z. But how we plot our x, y, z on a paper is not easy, or is not so pleasant. Okay, for the simplicity we are restricting ourselves only to the three dimension. Now we have a three-dimensional coordinate system. As for the case of two variables, we had a coordinate system or rectangular coordinate system. Now we have a three-dimensional coordinate system. We have three coordinate axes, okay, x, y and z. We have three coordinate axes which are perpendicular to one another, the same case as we have in our rectangular coordinate system, and they intersect at their respective 0 points called the origin, denoted by 0, 0, 0. Okay, let's have a look at the figure again. We have three coordinates x, y, z. They are perpendicular to each other. Now x may not seem to be perpendicular to y and z, but if we take our hand, for example, this is our, let's say, x, one finger representing y and the other representing z. Both of them are all three are perpendicular to each other, and they intersect at their respective 0, that is the origin, which is 0, 0, 0. Now the linear equation involving three variables will be of the form ax1 plus bx2 plus cx3 is equals to, let's say, d, or a1x1 plus a2x2 plus a3x3 is equals to b. So this is a linear equation in three variables x1, x2 and x3. And as for the case of two variables, we were mainly interested in the solution set of a linear equation in two variables. So we are also interested in the solution set of this equation. In this case, the solution set will have all the ordered tuples. S is equals to ordered tuples x1, x2 and x3, such that this ordered tuple x1, x2, x3 satisfy our equation double star. That is ax1 plus bx2 plus cx3 is equals to d. So the solution set in this case will be an ordered tuple x1, x2, x3. Now, okay, how we can represent a point, let's say having coordinates x, y and z. If we have a point P having coordinate x, y and z, then how we can, in three dimensions, then how we can represent this point P in our three-dimensional coordinate system? Simply, we have one axis x, second y and third z. Okay, now first we will see what is the value of x. If the value of x is, let's say, here positive units, fine. The distance from the origin. What is the value of y, that is on the y-axis? Okay, here we have x, here we have y. Okay, we have this point, and what is the value of z? Means how much units this point is raised to the height z. So this is the point representing x, y, z in a three-dimension space. Okay, we have an example of a point P is equals to 2, 3 and 5. Okay, which means that x is equals to 2 units from 0, that is this point. Y is equals to 3 units from 0, that is this point. Okay, we have plotted this 2 and 3 and we have come to this point. Now z is equals to 5 units, means the height of this point is 5 units on the z-axis. So we have basically this point P representing 2, 3 and 5 in our three-dimensional coordinate system, that is in our space. Okay, now as for the case of 2 dimension, we had, if we remember, quadrants, that is first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant, rotating counterclockwise. Then in the case of 3 dimension, we also have partitions, but now we have octants, that is now we have 8 planes. How? 4 planes up and 4 planes down. Let's say this is our x, this point is our y and this is our z. Then this plane, the xyz plane, will have the values all 3 positive, x positive, y positive, z positive. That is our top one, that is our top back one. Now as with the case of quadrants, we have moved counterclockwise, so we are moving counterclockwise with these octants as well. This is the first one. Now the second one will be this plane, which is yz plane. Okay, basically where x is negative, as we can see these are the values of x is negative, but y and z are positive. Okay, now our third one, where we have x is negative, y is negative, y is basically this and z is basically this. Okay, y is negative but z is positive. Okay, then our fourth one, where we have here x is positive. Okay, y is downwards, y is negative and z is positive. Okay, then we will see 4 more planes on the bottom of this plane, that is fifth one, where x is positive, y and z are negative. We may call this as sixth one. Okay, where x is positive, y is positive but z is negative, and so on. Then this downwards we have 7th one and here we have 8th one. So for the case of 3 dimensions, we have octants, that is the partition of our 3-dimensional space in 8 portions, 4 up and 4 down. And these positive, and the main thing we have to remember is that we are moving counterclockwise as with the case of quadrants. Okay, and we may select any one as x, any one as y and any one as z, and then we can decide where we have positive values, where we have negative values, and so on. Okay, now, so let us summarize what we have studied in today's lecture. We have seen the definition of slope. That slope basically tells us the inclination and steepness of a line, a linear equation in 2 variables. What do we mean by graphically representing a slope? That is, if we plot our line, then how we can see the slope of the line is. Then we have studied the 2-point form, that is when we are given 2 points connecting a line, how we can get the slope from this information. Okay, then the slope intercept form, that is if we are provided with slope m and the y-intercept, which is k, how we can write our equation of how we can write our linear equation. Then the slope point form, that if we know the slope of an equation and one point passing through the equation, then what will be the linear equation. Then we have seen some examples that how we can find the linear equation when we are given with any two informations, and from the linear equation how we can find the slope and the intercept. Some applications of linear equations in the cost equation or the salary equation, and the linear equations in more than two variables, particularly what we have seen in three variables, that is in 3-dimension coordinate system. And there we have studied what do we mean, how we represent our three-dimension plane, x, y, z. All three are perpendicular to each other, meeting at their respective zeros, called the origin. And we have 8 octants, and how we can represent a point in our 3-dimensional coordinate system. Okay, with this we end our chapter 2, and in our next lecture we will study chapter 3, which is about system of linear equations. So far we have studied linear equations. In our next chapter and next lecture we will study what do we mean by system of linear equations. Particularly we will see a two-variable system of equations and the Gaussian elimination method, that how we can find the solution set of such system of linear equations, and then we will generalize our concepts to n-variable systems. With this we end our today's lecture, and we have finished with our chapter 1 and chapter 2. I hope that you are doing well in your chapter 1 and chapter 2, and the lectures are understandable. With this, thank you students.